everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Fairies Never Lie, which I just recently finished and is now trying to move my camera. Don't look over on my bed. Okay guys, look at me, my face, my bookshelf, and my mess right here. So Fairies Never Lie, I really enjoyed this. This is a short story collection with the idea of like exploring fairies and the tropes that come along with it. I love this cover. I hated it online, but as soon as I got it in person, I just fell in love with it. I don't know, just something about it. It's so vibrant, and I love the eyeballs on the dragonfly wings. It's just stunning, okay? But yeah, I read it. There is 14 stories in this collection, and we're gonna go through them. I'll tell you my ratings for each of them, how I liked them, anything I remember about them. I'll kind of give you a rundown of my thoughts, and then kind of tell you, and then I'm going to break down my ratings of the average of how much I rated the book, and then I'm going to tell you how much I think I rated the book when I was filling it out in Storygraph, because I didn't do it based on my average, because I enjoyed it a lot. And there's like, I don't know, this collection was kind of fun, and there are some stories that I just read and I was like, this is so bad, and there was some where I was like, this is so good. And I'm kind of realizing I love anthologies because it's just fun. You open the book and you kind of know, like, okay, I'm gonna get a story about this, but you never really know like the vibe you're gonna get. Like when I read Catalog for the End of Humanity, or like Kinliu, or Shioko's Smile, like all of those, like Shioko's Smile, I'm gonna get the story, and it's gonna kind of sound the same as the others. I read so many of them, but with an anthology, like every story is so different, just because so many people have, like, even down to like the writing style is different, and I really just enjoy that. And yeah, a lot of these I know I wrote down that I was like, this could have been good if it wasn't a short story. Like I could see the ideas there, and it just couldn't fulfill them all. So yeah, I also, if you guys are wondering, I do have like these vlogs for like the first half of the collection that I did on shorts, so none of them are more than 3 minutes. And so if you want to watch like live reactions, that might be fun for you to go see. I also have a couple of them just spread it about in reading vlogs. I know there's one where I reviewed 3 stories in it. I think one of them was The Honest Folk, which is Holly Black's story. But yeah, so if you want more of me talking about this book that I'm going to spend like 20 minutes talking about, go for it. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to tell you the story, I'm going to tell you what I remember about it, I'm going to tell you what star I gave it, and I also wrote for all these how I like the fairies in them, because I love fairies. I have like a whole section of my bookshelf dedicated to fairies, which is so fun. It's on the very top, so you don't get to see it, which is a bummer for you, but I get to know it's there, and you get to know it's there, and I get to look up, and I get to see like the top corners of the book. So yeah, that's what's going on. So first was Eternal Fire, and this is a sad one to start off with. I gave it 1 star. So I wrote, the prose sucked. Though there were some parts that were funny, the prose just were trying to get the story to move. I think it should have been edited with word choice and sentence structure in mind. Like, yeah, I don't remember why that pissed me off so much, but what I meant was like, it needed a run through where it's like, okay, this word means this and it has this connotation, and the actual definition's this, but when people think of it, it's like this, and it just needed that careful deliberation. Theme-wise, I don't really get the point. I feel like the people wanted to be immortal but didn't want to commit to the bit, so no point really came through. Like, if you're gonna do immortality, you have to choose. Is it cool to be immortal, or is it not? And like, you can do like a sequel with a story, and I regret the choices, but you can't like, I remember that being so annoying how they handled it. It was so bad. And then I think the fairy dude was annoying. The author wasn't subtle enough to keep the trickster thing down. So I just came across as the author trying to write a fairy who is other than human and not exactly moral. And like, I don't know, it was like so try hard. It was terrible. The story was very telly. I was fairly invested in the plot, but not enough to make me like it at all. Like, I think what was happening, what was happening in this is this girl loses this like family heirloom, and it's because a fairy stole it, and she's trying to track it down, and then her and the fairy kind of fall in love, but I hate the fairy, so I don't care, and I think the girl's stupid, so I don't care, and I don't think they should be together, and I don't know, it was terrible, okay? 1 star. Fools. This one I gave 5 stars, so completely opposite side of the spectrum. I wrote, I love this. I think it really shone in showing the obsessive nature of fairies, how they can and will hate a bad thing, but don't understand how their actions are the same. The theme of unhealthy obsessionism was also a nice touch. The prose are what I strive to write. Nothing. Oh, I did write. What was this one about? Oh, this is the ballerina. This one was awesome. This was good, I think. Yeah, so there's this. So this is about this fairy who watches this human ballet and he gets obsessed. He goes back to the queen and is like, I want that ballerina. And she's like, wait. And then by the time she's like, okay, the ballerina's gone. And this new ballerina. And she's even better than the last one. And this time, he's going to take her without the queen's permission. And it's that was such a good story. And like, the consequences for the actions were really good. And like, that was a good one. I loved that one. I remembered that one too. I just didn't remember the name. Okay, and then the Sensor, I messed up writing that. I gave that one 3 stars. I wrote, the story was gripping. I also did a good job juggling the characters. There are a few times that it felt telly, but generally when I didn't mind, because it was usually right when I wanted the answers. And then I wrote in all caps, usually. The characters weren't as fairy feeling as I would have liked. I wasn't satisfied with the ending. It didn't feel like we finished her arc. Like she never had to conquer anxiety or handle things on her own. It was a great start to the story, but I would have liked more, which just makes sense for a 3 star. What was this about? Let me read the census. That's what it's called. The first perfect fairy tasted like honey thick. Okay, this is about this girl, and like her fairy magic is something happens when you kiss them. I forget what that happened. And it was about her, like, learning how to use her magic in the kisses. And I forget what else happened. It wasn't memorable, I guess. This book I've read over like 3 months, so you know. And then I'm reviewing this a month later, so a lot of stuff is kind of fuzzy. Then we have Rotten. I gave this one 3.75 stars. I think the plot was perfect. The fairying was pretty good. The fairies weren't required to be much other than a way to begin and bargain. A way to bargain, and the bargaining was perfect for this story. I loved the showcasing of the fairies always getting the upper hand. The MC is very aware of who they are, which did get a little annoying, but the payoff from that was good. Prose-wise, it was good, but there were some areas that didn't quite hit the mark. But this author is word I don't know. Touches greatness. Definitely touches greatness. There we go. Love the swamp vibes. Swamp vibes makes me think of Hannah Kidder. Okay, so what's Rotten about? I wish I remembered this stuff better, so I could just be like just about everyone born into circumstances more tired and rusted out than a pickup truck. that's been sitting in a yard for more than a decade. I've always wondered if there weren't a way to shimmy into a life that's brighter and more interesting than the one I seem stuck with. In spite of looking for that the last 17 years, I ain't found it. I still don't know. Oh, is this the one where she goes after her girlfriend or boyfriend or something? Oh, okay. I think her mom, I don't remember. Let me read the last sentence. So in this one, I think it's about her going to get into fairy world, like her mom. I'm not really sure. I didn't remember that one good at all. Blue Amber, I gave 3.5 stars. I wrote, I don't have anything against this story, but I get the feeling it will be forgettable. There was nothing in it that stood out to me. I did enjoy it though. I liked the main character, the message the story had. I think that I feel similar to how I felt about Rotten with this one. I think this did a good job showing a kind of fairy while still keeping the farm and her. I don't know what that means. I like her gift. If I had magic, I might like this one. So what's Blue Amber about? I love how it's just these reviews are just me like being like, what's this story about? I don't know. I feel like these reviews are kind of stupid because like I don't remember most of these stories ever, and I feel like I talk about the things in the most boring way, and yeah, I do it the same way every time because this is how I like to do it. And I guess no one watches my videos anyway, so. Valicana has a habit of impersonating fairies, which, if my friends had ever read a single Cuento de Hadas, she would know it was a ruinously bad idea. I was so right, I don't remember anything about this. I think this is about a girl, like, coming to terms with, like, her magic or something. Not 100% sure, but I remember there being a dress that she made. Here we have Reveille. This is one of the few stories, and, like, this was, like, the first story where the main character was a dude, I think. Let me read this to make sure I have the right one, but I think I did not like this one. I gave it 2 stars. I wrote, I feel like the end was more interesting than the whole rest. The main character felt a bit like a Gary Snoot. Yeah, it was a dude main character. He didn't feel all that tangible. The plot was odd, I guess because it was more of a start to a story than a whole thing. The fairies didn't feel exactly like fairies, but I don't care enough about the story to think more on it. Also, the boy was, oh yeah, he kept referring to his friend as the boy, and I was like, first of all, you're the same age. Second of all, he's your friend. I don't think of my friends as the girl. I'm like, especially not a friend who I'm like hanging out with actively and regularly. I'm pretty sure they're hanging out regularly. Like, I know my friends pretty good. I'm thinking of them as my friends' names, not some the boy. That was so annoying. It was so many times too. Pros were neither here nor there. So Reveille was about this dude, and he goes to this party, and at this party there's Fae, but they don't really know about that, but they kind of do, and he's looking for his missing brother, and his friends are stupid, and he's so much smarter than his friends, and it annoyed me greatly. I don't remember the ending at all, but maybe it saved it because it has 2 stars, and I don't remember liking this story at all. I often think about how I don't like this story actually when I'm thinking about this collection. Next is La. And this, I wrote this. Met the Olivia Atwater meets Teen Kingfisher vibes, and I love it. I like the Conquerors and the Fae Bargain. I think the fairy character could have been better developed. I would have loved this as a longer work. I think the side characters were good. I like the legend aspect of this story and the time in history. I gave it a 4.75, maybe a 5. It needs a reread. I wonder, I kind of think this is the one where she, like, it had the river fairy, and I loved that one so much. Loved that. Yes, it was that one. That one was so good. This is a 5 star. It's one of it's probably my favorite in the collection. I love how, Dear Diary was also so good. Oh, I don't know. I love that one. That was about this girl, and she, like, all her sisters are married, and they all don't have very good husbands. One of them has an especially bad husband, and she gets engaged to, like, this old man who already has a wife in the village a couple towns over, and she's just kind of like, not for me. And she saves this fairy, and she's like, hey, help me get out of these situations. One to save her sister who gets beaten, and one to save herself, and, you know, fae bargaining. And it's great. It's so, I don't know, it has that darkness, it has that sweetness, it has the atmosphere. It was so good. Okay, Always There and Never Seen. It's a Peter Pan retelling. There's nothing I was really excited about, nor anything terribly upsetting. I liked the inner conflicts. I gave that 4 stars. I have no memory of this. So this girl, she goes to her, like, grandma's house with her mom, and, like, I think they're either moving out or moving in, and it's just, like, her dealing with her inner turmoil. It's okay. I don't remember much about it. I think it felt a little more melodramatic, but nothing too terrible. Okay, and then we have Dear Diary. That one was so good, guys. The suspense was so good. I loved how the descent into madness was. I loved the formatting, and it was the perfect length, and, like, the reveals, and, like, it slowly creeps up onto you, and you can just feel the tension. It was beautiful. It was so good, guys. 5 stars. The Night and Her Darkness, I gave 3 stars. I wrote, I hated the prose. It started off as a shitty verse, then forgot about it along the way. The main character was so one-dimensional. She was like a cardboard, which sucks because it could have been really interesting. I think the fairies were cool, though. A lot of the lore ended up being very telly. Is this the one where she's hanging out with the fairy on the beach? Look at how this starts. The sea is a song in blue, but I am deaf to its music. A scream, its edges sharp, is caught inside me, leaving me unable to hear any song except the one it sings. And then, by the second page, let's read this page. My actions enrage my parents. Mr. Principal, in particular, feels that my smile advertises my loose virtues. According to him, my smiles are prologue to an immoral life. So you can see it, like, started off, like, the first couple paragraphs were in that verse thing, and then at some point it just stopped and it was normal prose. But yeah, the plot was pretty interesting because it's about how she dealt with her parents' abuse, and, like, the fairy thing that was happening was pretty cool. I think the author just failed, though. I don't know. I don't like it that much. The new girl at autumn prep. This, okay, so this, I wanted to get to the ending. And, like, the imagery and the ending was so beautiful, but everything before that was, like, setting up for the ending. And it was terrible. And so it's about this girl who goes to this school, and it's, like, fairy school, and she's special because she's an autumn fairy, and autumn fairies don't usually get to go in there because some war, I don't remember why, but she goes there, and she's, like, bullied, and no one likes her, and there's, like, this love interest character that pops up for, like, 5 seconds, but he's only in one scene, and a best friend character that pops up for, like, 5 seconds, but she's only in one scene, and then he gets to the end, and it's just like, it's terrible, and we know her life is terrible because we were told, and we got, like, one scene of bullying, but, you know, we time skipped, like, 50 million years, and so, I don't know what happened, and I was just like, seeds plant and grow. It wasn't autumn fairy, it was spring fairy, and also, she was green, and, like, most fairies glamour, so they're not weird colors and stuff like that. So, I don't know. Racism thing? I don't know. I wrote, I think the author had a vision of what she wanted the ending to be, but didn't have the groundwork to make it satisfying. Like, if you want to do, like, if you have one scene, you can do that in flash fiction. And it can be hard, but it's so fun. I don't know. Like, she should have done that. I'll be so real. There are multiple side characters and plot points that were just dropped as quickly as they appeared. So much thought on the color of everything. It's like, he was blue, like the da-da-da, and she was blue, like the da-da-da, and the walls were green, and there was fuchsia, and it was so much color, everything. Every description had 5 different colors in it, and one other thing. It was sad. The fairies weren't really fairying and felt like something to be used as a vague yet obvious metaphor. It was nice to annotate, though the more I think about it, the more I dislike it. Oop! But after a low star, I get a high star. I gave Honest Folks a 5-star. It's Holly Black's. It's like, what did a certain character get up when she lost her memories in the original series? It was cute. It was fun. I don't really want to talk about it because it's kind of, like, I liked it, but I feel like I liked it because I like that series. If you don't like that series, I don't see why you would like it. Ask Twice, I gave 4.5 stars. I wrote, the prose were good, the characters were lovely, the pacing perfect, romance sweet, it fit perfectly into the pages, the fairy element was fun and well managed. This is actually pretty cool, because, so there's this person, and I can't really tell if it's a boy or a girl. I thought it was a girl until, like, the end of the book, and then it was a guy, so I don't know. But it's also one of those books where it's like, you do like the gay. So this guy, he has, like, if he asks something multiple times, people have to answer, and it kind of hurts them to do it. And so it's kind of about him dealing with that. It's dealing with the fact that how his family responds to the fact that he's a changeling. And I don't know, like, the fairy concept is so cool, and, like, the acceptance factor of it was so cool. I think I really just this is one of the stories where I just had a hard time keeping everyone straight, which I didn't write here because that kind of stuff stresses me out. But it was sweet. It was a good story. Good themes, good message. Couldn't keep people straight, but couldn't keep, like, my brain had to process a lot, and it was focused a lot on processing, if I remember correctly. And then the Birch Prince, it was sad to end on this. I gave it oh no, this is the one I had a hard time keeping it straight. I don't know why I didn't get that one 5 stars. I think it's because I couldn't figure out the gender of the character. But, or maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I can't recall if I had a hard time keeping it straight in this one or not. But that story was really good, and I would really recommend it. And then I read The Birch Prince. I gave that one a 2.75 or 3 stars. I wrote this is an odd story where I spent like half the time trying to sort my brain out on the pronouns. This is the book I was thinking about earlier. I think the second person you was the worst, but so much gay certainly didn't help. Yeah, there was this character that kept being referred to as you, and I don't know why we felt the need to do that. I did not enjoy that. And it's not like a second person point of view. It's like, sorry, like she wanted to do it, but she's too scared. And I don't know, I just didn't like it. I don't like that. No. Didn't work for me. Especially with the confusingness of everybody else. I think it succeeded at fairing, and it was fun to look at. That was the raunchiest story in here. It had a sex scene in it, and it was odd, and I don't want that in there. I feel like it would have been way better if it didn't have that sex scene in it. Like, even with the confusing pronoun stuff. This also explored the trope of, true names, which was cool. But yeah. So I personally had so much fun reading this short story collection. Like, I always looked forward to reading it, and I was always glad to like get back into it. I'm gonna have to look at that in a second. And so I would really recommend this one. I think it's fun. Like, there's a lot of variety there. Like, I got 1 stars to 5 stars in here, and there's a lot I really enjoyed. So now let's talk about numbers, because that will be fun. I gave this a total of 48.5. I gave plus another 0.5 because some of them I gave, like the Birch Prince, I gave 2.75 or 3 stars. I couldn't decide, and there's another one I couldn't quite decide on. So I put the lowest number and then plus the 0.5. And then the max it could have gone, like everything got 5 stars, would have been 70. So that's like over half, right? If it was half, it'd be 35 out of 70, which is pretty good. The average rating was just under 3.5 stars, so I put 3.5 here. I think I ended up giving it like a 4.5 on my story graph, which you should go follow. It's Seems So Princess, just like the channel, and I love people following me and spying on my reading. I read a lot, and I don't talk about most of the books I read on the channel. And then, yeah, I just really enjoyed it. It's always a joy to like pick it back up, and I was always excited to see it. I love fairies so much, and I just really enjoyed this little series thing. I've read Vampires Never Get Old, they never die, and I think I'm gonna put Mermaids Never Drown on my list. I just enjoyed all the stories in this a lot. I hope to come out with more of these. Like I said, I just think it's fun, and yeah, and it's kind of funny because like they've gotten more and more like up my alley. I would love for them to do one on phoenixes. I love the concept of a phoenix, and I just think they're so cool. And like, I love the idea of the rebirth and like the healing, and I love them as like a symbol for my life. Fairies I just love because they're like so random. And so yeah, fairies are one of my favorite mythical creatures, followed by phoenixes, or maybe vice versa. Like, those two are my favorite. I feel like it's likely that they'll do dragons. They might do werewolves. Werewolves seems likely. Unicorns would be cool. I don't think they'll do unicorns next. I think they'll probably do werewolves or dragons next. I'm thinking werewolves because most of these have been like humanoid. But yeah, there's so many options, and I really just hope they continue doing this. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. Like I keep saying, I'd really recommend it. Oh, I should tell you what my favorites out of this were. Definitely Dear Diary and Terra dell'Olivia. I really enjoy. Yeah, I loved Fools too. Those three are what I would beg of you to read. I would say definitely skip The New Girl at Autumn Prep. Go back to read The Eternal Fire. I hated that one, but you might like it. The New Girl at Autumn Prep pissed me off so much. And then Know Yourself for Revelry. Like, I don't think it's worth skipping, but you know, if you can't handle a Gary Sue, don't force it on yourself. If you just want to read a couple of them, that's what I would say to do. And this video is so long, which is kind of cool. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to thank the authors. Let me name them. I want to thank Netha Aziz, Holly Black, Danelle Clayton, Kristen Day, Chloe Gong, Chessa Grayton, Ryan Salah, Coleman Mobley, LL McKinley, Anna Marie McLomar, Caitlin Sage Patterson, Warren Power, Zoriana Carvado, and Natalie C. Parker. And then I want to thank my Aunt Rebecca and Uncle John for getting me this book, as well as my cousins. I want to thank Books and Lala for introducing me to this series. And I want to thank YouTube for hosting this video, and I want to thank you for watching it all the way to my thanks thing. And I hope to see you in a future video. Bye bye.